You arrive at the prison before sunrise. The prison walls rise higher than you imagined. Nobody speaks during the ride. The chains rattle softly every time the bus turns. Floodlights sweep across the prison yard. The steel gates slowly open. The air smells cold and metallic. You already feel trapped. The guards take your fingerprints. Your old life disappears into paperwork. You lose your name. Now you are just another inmate. The guards shave your head. Everything feels cold. The older inmates stare at you silently. Nobody smiles here. You quickly learn the rules. Never sit at the wrong table. Never look weak. And never trust anyone completely. The first fight happens during breakfast. Nobody tries to stop it. Blood spreads across the floor. You stop sleeping peacefully. Every sound keeps you alert. The nights feel endless. You begin memorizing faces. Gangs control everything. Even food has hierarchy. You start working in the laundry room. The machines never stop humming. Weeks slowly turn into months. You stop checking the calendar. The outside world begins fading away. One mistake changes everything. The fight happens fast. The guards drag you away. You are sent to solitary confinement. The silence feels heavier than violence. Days lose meaning. There are no clocks, no voices, no sunlight, only your own thoughts. Eventually, you stop talking. You stop reacting emotionally. Prison slowly becomes normal. You become harder to read. New inmates now fear you. You barely remember life outside anymore. The prison yard becomes quieter around you. You stop introducing yourself to new inmates. You already know how their stories end. The guards search your cell constantly. They flip the mattress over. They tear apart every corner. Nobody complains anymore. Complaining only creates problems. One night, alarms suddenly begin screaming. A riot explodes inside the cafeteria. Metal trays crash against the floor. Smoke fills the air. You hear screaming everywhere. Guards storm the block in riot gear. The lights suddenly cut out. You can barely see anything. Someone collapses beside you. But nobody stops moving. You survive by staying invisible. The riot lasts less than 10 minutes. But the silence afterward feels worse. Blood stains remain on the floor for weeks. Life returns to normal frighteningly fast. You begin losing track of time again. The seasons change outside. But inside, everything stays the same. You stop thinking about freedom. Freedom starts feeling imaginary. You hear rumors about escape attempts. Most of them fail. Some inmates disappear afterward. Nobody asks where they went. You learn to avoid eye contact. You learn to walk confidently. And you learn to hide fear. One day, a young inmate asks for your help. He reminds you of yourself. You almost feel human again. But prison punishes kindness quickly. The young inmate disappears after lockdown. You never see him again. The prison keeps moving forward. New inmates continue arriving every week. They still look terrified. You no longer remember that feeling clearly. The prison has changed you. Your face looks older now. Your eyes feel empty. You barely react to violence anymore. That realization scares you the most. You stop dreaming about the outside world. The prison becomes your entire universe. You know every sound now. The alarms, the gates closing, the guards shouting orders, and the silence afterward. You begin waking up before the morning alarms. Your body adapts to survival. Fear slowly disappears. But something worse replaces it. Numbness. You stop reacting to bad news. You stop reacting to violence. You stop reacting to screams. Prison changes the way your mind works. You become quieter, colder, and harder to understand. One winter morning, your name is suddenly called. At first, you think something went wrong. Then the guard hands you a folder. You stare at the papers silently. You are finally being released. After all these years, it doesn't feel real. That night, you cannot sleep. The cell suddenly feels unfamiliar. You notice details you stopped seeing years ago. The rust on the sink, the cracks in the concrete, the sound of distant gates closing. You realize this place became part of you. Morning finally arrives. The guards escort you outside. The sunlight feels strange. You forgot how warm it feels. The final gate opens slowly. Nobody says goodbye. The prison simply lets you go. You stop walking for a moment. The outside world feels too quiet. Cars pass by in the distance. But everything feels unfamiliar now. You spent so many years surviving that you forgot how to live. You touch the prison ID in your pocket one last time. Then you slowly let it fall. The wind carries it away. For the first time in years, there are no walls around you. You think freedom will feel exciting, but mostly, it feels confusing. The world kept moving without you. Everything feels faster now, louder, and strangely unfamiliar. You struggle to sleep the first night. The silence feels wrong now. You miss the sounds of prison, the footsteps, the alarms, the steel doors closing every night. You realize prison rewired your mind. You still wake up before sunrise automatically. You still eat too quickly. You still scan every room for danger. And you still don't trust anyone. Years inside those walls changed you forever. Some inmates never truly leave prison. Even after the gates open, the prison stays inside your head. You try calling your family, but the conversation feels distant. Too many years disappeared. Too much changed. You barely recognize yourself anymore. Freedom feels heavier than prison sometimes. At least prison gave you rules. Out here, nobody tells you how to survive. You stand outside a convenience store late at night. The cashier watches you nervously. You realize people can still see prison on your face. You quietly leave without buying anything. The city lights blur in the rain. For a moment, you almost miss the cell. At least inside prison, you understood the rules. The outside world feels colder now. You stop beneath a bridge before sunrise. The sky slowly begins turning orange. You breathe deeply. For the first time in years, there are no walls around you, no guards watching you, no alarms, no steel doors, only silence, an endless space ahead of you. You take one final look behind you. Then you keep walking. After surviving America's most dangerous prison, freedom no longer feels like escape. It feels like learning how to live again. You never fully escape a place like this. Some part of you always stays behind those walls. The routines, the fear, the silence. It follows you everywhere. But the sun still rises. And for the first time in years, you finally stop looking over your shoulder. The road ahead is uncertain, but at least it belongs to you now. Freedom is not the moment the prison gates open. Freedom is learning how to live after they close behind you.